These are the plays that are going to make you the most money today. This is the Daily Profit brought to you by Linemaker Sports. In today's show, we're going to go through some of the highest probability plays in the MLB. But before we get to that, let's jump into the whiteboard and let's discuss exactly how the last couple days have went inside the group. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the 16th. The 16th, we had Altuve to get one hit. He ended up getting that one. We had Judge to get one hit. He ended up getting there. Betts to get one hit. He did not. He ended up going, I think it was like 0 for 3 and then 2 walks. So didn't get the opportunity there for Mookie Betts. Then we went to Trout. Trout ended up getting there, getting a hit for us. Then yesterday we had Andrew Vaughn to go under 1.5 hits. That means he had to get 2 hits. He only got 1 hit, so we ended up hitting that one. Then the NHL, we had Werenski to go over 0.5 points, which was nice. He ended up getting that one in the second period. And then we had Corey Seager to go over 1 hit, and he ended up getting that at his first at bat. All right, so we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We went 6 and 1 over the last 2 days. So pretty solid there. Can't really complain, really, when it comes to the hit props. We're killing the hit props for sure so far in the beginning of this year. And then one interesting thing that I'm going to make a YouTube video on for you guys too is this prop right here, the under 1.5 hits. So it's pretty interesting how you could find that, because you could find some good value for sure, because it's hard enough to get 1 hit in the MLB, let alone you got to get 2. All right, so I'm gonna make a YouTube video for you guys on that, discussing that. But let's get into today's play as well. Before we get into today's play, there is something I want to discuss that I think is very important, because I see it come up a lot in the industry and people even ask me this question all the time. So when you are betting, you're not betting the odds, you're betting your unit size. So if you have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 bankroll, you're betting 1 to 3% of that. That is what your unit size is going to be, because you're not going to bet what the odds dictate. The problem with doing that is if you have $1,000 bankroll, for example, and a play is minus 250, if you're betting $250 on that play, you're betting 25% of your bankroll. That means if you lose 4 bets in a row, you're done. Your whole bankroll is completely wiped and gone. Now, a $1,000 bankroll, you should be betting between 1 and 3%. So you're either betting $10 or $30. So what happens now is if you're betting, let's say $10, you lose 4 bets, well, you've only lost $40 of your $1,000 bankroll. You didn't just lose half of your bankroll or all of it. So you have to understand you need to be betting your unit size and correlating that with your bankroll. Because if you bet the odds, you're going to run into losing streaks, okay? There are losing streaks that happen. You're going to run into them, and it'll wipe your bankroll completely out. So if you think $1,000 bankroll, $2,000 bankroll, and betting 1 to 3% of that is not worth it, then you need to up your bankroll. You need to make more money. You need to have more money. That's just that simple. The amount of money you're going to make just dictates from your bankroll. If you have a big enough bankroll, then you're going to make a decent amount of money. If you have no money, then you're going to make a small amount of money. You have to realize that. That is the only way to manage your bankroll correctly, is to understand the unit size correlation with your bankroll. If you don't understand that, and this is 101 stuff, just to be honest with you, this is 101 beginner stuff. If you don't understand that, it's a recipe for disaster, and you will lose your entire bankroll just because of a small losing streak that you might occur. So it's very important. Make sure that you guys are managing your bankroll correctly, because if you're not, you will lose everything. 100% guarantee you will lose everything, because there are ups and downs in this game, and you might run into a little slump, and that slump can completely wipe you out, and then you have nothing. So make sure that you are correlating your bankroll with your unit size, because that's the only way you could manage it properly. All right, let's hop into the play for today. We are going to go to the New York Mets. All right, and we are going to look at Francisco Lindor to get over 1+ hit. All right, so what does he got to do? He's got to get a hit for us. What's the probability on this play? The probability is 70%. We got a 70% probability for Francisco Lindor to get 1 hit today. Let's look at his stats. All right, he is batting .412. All right, that's actually pretty good. .412 versus the pitcher today, which is Mikolas for the Cardinals. All right, batting .412. That's pretty solid. So he has a good shot there to get a hit in this game. Now, head-to-head, he is 4 out of 7 of the times that he's faced in the game, he has been able to get a hit in those games. Okay? So 57% probability with straight up head-to-head and a 70% probability overall for Francisco Lindor to get over 1+ hit today. Now, if you guys have paid attention to any of these plays that I do with the hit, the hit props or whatnot, obviously what you're looking for here is you want to make sure that the player that you have written down is going against a pitcher that does not pitch well against them, because that ups your probability. Okay? Remember that. That ups your probability. Now, this is important as well to know in the 7 games that he's played against this pitcher that he was able to get a hit 4 out of those times. So you have to calculate that in, okay? Because that is something you want to know as well. You don't want to just know the overall, but you want to know the head-to-head of how he does exactly against, that pitcher. You can get his average here, obviously, but overall, you want to get that probability as well. But Francisco Lindor to get 1 hit today is what we are looking for, and he is batting leadoff. So I think he's batting leadoff. He should. That's what they have it projected at. So he should get anywhere between 4 to maybe 5 at bats to get this done for us. Now, once again, even with that play, because the odds on that play are going to be anywhere from -200 to probably -250, you're betting your unit size. Just make sure you're doing that, okay? Because it's very important. If you ignore what I just told you about that 101 rule for basic bankroll management and managing your unit size, doesn't matter whether you win today, you win tomorrow, you will lose in the end if you mismanage your bankroll. Now, if you guys want the rest of the picks for today, make sure you guys go and click the link down in the description. And remember, when you have an edge, every bet becomes a winning opportunity. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next show. Till then, I'm out.